The October solar eclipse is almost here, but you already may have been feeling its effects. So here's what you need to know. This catalyst for change will occur in Libra on October 14th. Solar eclipses such as this one push new beginnings and new opportunities into your life. And this may be something you want to prepare for. It's coming regardless. So better to be ready. The other thing that you need to know about this solar eclipse is that it is conjunct or right next to the South Node. The South Node is all about old patterns of behavior that are ingrained in us, things that we just keep doing over and over and over that we need to grow from. So keep that in mind when listening to your eclipse horoscope. I'm Peggy from The Happy Mystic, and we have a weekly newsletter that focuses on solving life's problems and trying to find more happiness through astrology and other mystical, metaphysical practices. It's free, it's fun, and if that sounds good to you, there's a link in the description where you can subscribe. So what are some areas of life that you should be focused on during the solar eclipse? I'm going to take the eclipse through each of the signs of the zodiac, and I want you to pay attention to both your sun sign and your rising sign, because if you kind of blend both of those together, that's going to give you a much clearer picture of what this eclipse has in store for you. But before we jump into the signs, I want to let you know that for this video, I'm using my favorite Solar Fire astrology software. And if you want to learn what Solar Fire can do for you, plus how to get our exclusive discount and bonus package, there'll be a link in the description. So let's get going with Aries. Hello, all my Aries friends. As you can see, your solar eclipse will be landing in your 7th house. So for you, this is a time very ripe for change in your relationships. And this doesn't have to be marriage or even romantic relationships. This just could be any close or important partnerships in your life. And relationships will be playing a central role for you during this eclipse because not only is the eclipse landing in your 7th house of relationships, but it's also in Libra, the sign that loves relationships. So how do you prepare yourself for the solar eclipse? You can think about important partnerships in your life or ones you've been thinking that you'd like to start or have, and ask yourself, what kind of new relationship might this eclipse be pushing you toward? What ways could you be opening yourself up to new possibilities in your relationships? And being in Aries, you're probably going to be the one doing the pursuing. And we can't forget that this solar eclipse is conjunct the South Node also in your 7th house. So even though the solar eclipse is bringing in new possibilities, there's also a little flavor to it that has to do with sweeping up those old habits that you have in relationships. Maybe things that aren't working for you anymore. Maybe patterns of behavior in relationships that need to go to make way for new, healthier, better habits. And that moves us on to Taurus. So hello, Taurus friends. And you can see the solar eclipse will be landing in your 6th house. This means that the time is ripe for change for you in work and health habits. So how do you get ready for this eclipse? What do you need to ask yourself and do? First, think about what kind of new changes might you need to undergo in your job. Is there something that sticks out? A new opportunity that you've been resisting? Or what kind of health-related activities might you have been thinking about starting but haven't yet? Like maybe initiating daily walks with your partner or starting new eating habits. And as a Taurus, you may not love change being thrown your way, which eclipses have the potential to do. But with this eclipse, there is the possibility of beginning new structured routines in your life, which you might actually like. And we can't forget that this solar eclipse is conjunct to the South Node. So there may be some ingrained health habits, things that you've maybe been repeating over and over when it comes to your health or within your job that have kind of gotten old and stale and need to go. And this brings us to Gemini. So hello, Gemini friends. The solar eclipse is occurring in your 5th house, which means that the time is ripe for new beginnings that let you shine in some way. This is in relation to how much you allow yourself to have fun for fun's sake, and let your hair down, and even romance. So how should Gemini get ready for the solar eclipse? Well, you can think about in what ways have you been taking life too seriously? For a Gemini, so in what parts of your life could you slow down and make room for more carefree time and carefree feelings? And also, are you putting yourself out there in the romance department? If not, now may be the time. And remember that the South Node is conjunct this eclipse. And with the South Node, old habits die hard. So be thinking about in relation to simply finding joy in life, making time for that fun, romance, and flirting. What are some old habits that you've been clinging to that just aren't working for you anymore? Time to let those go. Next up is Cancer. So hello, my Cancer friends. The solar eclipse is landing in your 4th house, which is Cancer's house. So the time is ripe for change in your domestic life and in your home. And this could involve your family dynamics, and it could also be your literal physical dwelling. So how does a Cancer get ready for the solar eclipse? So think about if there have been ways that you want to upgrade your nest, shake it up and get some new energy energy in there. Maybe there are habit patterns within your family that need to be revised and replaced with a new, healthier dynamic. And being a Cancer, ask yourself if maybe you've gotten a little too comfortable in your shell. Maybe it's time to begin hosting friends at your house. And don't forget that the South Node is conjunct that solar eclipse in your 4th house. And the South Node has to do with ingrained patterns that aren't serving us anymore. So with that lunar eclipse touching that South Node, it's time to seek out those old patterns in your family, those outdated things in your house, and start fresh. And that takes us to Leo. So welcome, Leo friends. The solar eclipse is happening in your 3rd house. So for you, the time is right for change in terms of information going out and information going in. This could be in regard to sharing what you know, starting new educational endeavors. So how can Leo get ready for the solar eclipse? Think about if there's something that you've been curious to learn about, that you've been putting off or talking yourself out of. Ask yourself, what are the things that you have knowledge about? And how could you be sharing that with the world in ways that you haven't yet? Of course, in your own fantastic Leo way. And think about who can benefit from knowing what you know. It's time to share it. But remember that the South Node is conjunct the solar eclipse in your 3rd house. So think about what are some old, outdated 3rd house habits that you have. Maybe it has to do with how you use your voice or how you don't use your voice. It's time to clear out that baggage in your 3rd house of learning and communication to make way for new. Next up is Virgo. So welcome, my Virgo friends. The solar eclipse is happening in your 2nd house. For you, the time is right for new beginnings in regard to money or ways that you value yourself. This can refer to things like opportunities to bring in more cash, new ways to earn money, or being a Virgo, revising how you organize and manage what you have. So how does Virgo get ready for the solar eclipse? You can ask yourself, what are some talents or areas of expertise that you have that you could actually be cashing in on? Is there something that you've been wanting to learn to do, or ways that you can be of service to others that you could also turn into a new income stream? And think about how you've been perceiving your own self-worth lately. Does that need to be reworked? And with that South Node conjunct the solar eclipse in your 2nd house, what old, outdated patterns or ways of being when it has to do with money and self-worth have you grown out of and need to get rid of? Because it's time to clean house in the money department and make way for something fresh. Next up, we have Libra. So welcome, Libra friends. And you are hosting the solar eclipse in your sign and in your 1st house. So with the eclipse there, the time is right for you to reinvent yourself. This is in regard to how others see you, your outlook on life, and how you present yourself to the world. So how does a Libra get ready for this solar eclipse? Think about how you portray yourself to others. And do you play that part because that's what you've always done and what people expect from you? Or is that who you actually want to be? Have you been doing too much people-pleasing, Libra? And while physical appearance definitely isn't everything, a new look can usher in a new energy. And the time is perfect for you to reimagine your style, which might be completely up your alley. And ask yourself about the outlook or the lens that you are looking through to see the world. Is this perspective serving you well? Or is it time to get readjusted? And remember that the South Node is conjunct the solar eclipse in your 1st house. And the South Node has to do with old, ingrained ways of being, things that you have outgrown. So how have you been limiting yourself when it comes to your identity? Where have you maybe been hiding from who you actually want to be? Because it's time to get rid of that and make way for the new Libra. And on to Scorpio. So welcome, Scorpio friends. As you can see, the solar eclipse is landing in your 12th house. So the time is ripe for you for big internal change in anything under the surface. So this refers to psychological shifts and your inner imaginative world, self-reflection and dreams. So how does Scorpio get ready for the solar eclipse in your 12th house? Well, as a Scorpio, you are already primed to dive deep. And you can ask yourself, is there a mentally therapeutic practice that you've been curious about? If so, it may be time to start reading that book that you wanted to read, or seek out somebody to help you work on it and learn more. And think about how much time you allow yourself to sit and just listen to what the universe wants to tell you, or even just daydream. This may be a really good time to just sit and be still and let your mind go where it wants to go. And you also have the South Node conjunct that solar eclipse in your 12th house. So we have the South Node of karmic baggage in the 12th house of karmic baggage. It's a lot of karmic baggage in one place. So the time is perfect to do some deep psychological reflection and think about what old triggers you may be hanging on to that are driving your behavior and it's just not serving you anymore. It's time to clean house, get rid of that, and make way for your solar eclipse. And next up is Sagittarius. So welcome all my Sagittarius friends. With the solar eclipse landing in your 11th house, the time is right for new beginnings in regard to the dream that you have for yourself. This has to do with your life strategy and who you align yourself with that helps you get where you want to go. So So how does Sagittarius get ready for this solar eclipse? So you can ask yourself if there's a direction that you've been wanting to go in life that you've been putting off. Now may be the time to start charting your course and think about where you want to go in life and what alliances you can form that can help you get there. The time is now to be bold, Sagittarius. So find your people and go after it. Don't forget we have that South Node conjunct that solar eclipse in your 11th house. So what are some old habits that have to do with the groups of people you hang out with, how you're setting yourself up for your future or not, that it's time to clear out of the way to make room for the solar eclipse and new beginnings. Next up is Capricorn. So welcome, Capricorn friends. So as you can see, the solar eclipse is happening in your 10th house. So the time is right for new beginnings in regard to how others see you. This has to do with your public role and titles that you hold or the categories that you're put into. It can also have to do with moving closer to the biggest goals that you have in life. So how does Capricorn get ready for this solar eclipse? Well, you can ask yourself, what would life look like if you suddenly jumped much closer to your big goal? So envision that. And think about if there are any roles and titles that you hold that you may have grown out of but are sticking with out of a sense of duty because you are a Capricorn after all. What new roles might you be ready for that you haven't embodied yet because you just didn't think that it was your time or that you were ready? Now might be the time. But remember, we have that South Node conjunct the solar eclipse in your 10th house. So really think even more about roles and titles that you have outgrown or ways that you are limiting your own potential, because the South Node has to do with old patterns, old ways of being. And now is a perfect time to clear those out and get ready for your solar eclipse, bringing in those new opportunities. Aquarius is next. So welcome all of my Aquarius friends. For you, the solar eclipse is landing in your 9th house. So the time is right for you for new opportunities to expand your mind and spread your message to the world. This is in regard to travel or opening your mind to new philosophies or ways of thinking and sharing your worldview with others. So how does Aquarius get ready for this solar eclipse? So ask yourself, fixed Aquarius, have you been stuck in a rut in some area of your life? How might you shove yourself out of your comfort zone? Think about if there's been a place that you've wanted to visit but you put off, because now might be the time to book your flight. And what kind of ideals or life philosophy do you hold that others might love to hear about? How could you share it with the people that would appreciate it? But remember that we have the South Node conjunct that solar eclipse in your 9th house. So I want you to think about areas in life that you've been playing too safe. Or maybe there are some philosophies or ways of thinking that you've clung too tightly to, because it's time to release those. The 9th house is about shaking it up, and the solar eclipse is also about shaking it up. So release the grip, open your mind, and prepare for your solar eclipse. And that just leaves Pisces. So welcome all my Pisces friends. As you can see, the solar eclipse is landing in your 8th house. So the time is right for you for new opportunities in personal healing and connection within loving partnerships. This can be in regard to ways in which you open up and heal through becoming vulnerable with another person and doing internal work. So how does Pisces get ready for the solar eclipse? Well, if you are in a committed relationship, you could ask yourself if there are any walls that you have up. And can this person finally be trusted enough to lower your barriers or not? How could you two become more connected or become closer? Also think about any emotional wounds that you are still carrying that are simmering just under the surface and affecting your life. Is the time right for you to start dealing with these and start doing the work needed to heal them? And especially when we have that South Node conjunct the solar eclipse in your 8th house. Really think about what are some past hurts that I'm hanging on to that I don't need to be hanging on to anymore. It may be time to start reflecting on those and begin to let those go. So there's my mini forecast for you for this upcoming solar eclipse. So I hope you can open yourself up and make yourself more receptive to these new opportunities that will be coming with the solar eclipse. And if you'd like horoscopes sent directly to your inbox, then sign up for the Happy Mystic newsletter. There'll be a link for that in the description. So thanks for watching. Have a great day and take care.